All right, so even though we're not going to be doing the face-to-face presentations, you're still going to need to do your presentation, and the rules for giving the presentation still apply. So, for instance, you're still going to need to have everybody do one of the speaking parts, so nobody gets out of doing part of the presentation. Also, you need to make sure that what you are saying and how you are giving your presentation would be the same things you would do if you were speaking in front of an audience. So if you are going to point something out on a graph, you need to make sure that you are doing that as part of the presentation. Finally, most of the points that you are going to get for this presentation are going to come from the slides that you produce. So the content, the format, all of those kinds of things is what you are getting graded on. So make sure that you are doing a good job on those things. Now, there is already a PowerPoint version of this that has been uploaded, and it goes through this in some detail, but just very quickly. You could, if you wanted, rather than using a video like you're seeing right now, record this directly into PowerPoint. The big advantage of that is that you can record parts of the presentation separately. You can go back and redo one slide or a couple of slides, as opposed to having to, if you screw up majorly, go back and redo the entire video. So there are advantages that way. However, the biggest disadvantage is you cannot use a pointer. So you couldn't, for instance, highlight the word pointer just by using your mouse. You have to use other techniques, which I discuss in the other video. Same thing is true if you are trying to demonstrate something on a graph. It's much trickier if you're using just the PowerPoint version, but you'll notice that it's very easy for me to highlight the important parts of this simply by using the cursor. Now, I'm not going to go through this in detail, but you would record it all using your PowerPoint and a microphone hooked up to the computer, and you would go through, do your presentation, recording the audio. It records everything that's going on in there, and you would be fine. Just like you're doing right now, when you are doing your presentation for PowerPoint, you need to make sure that all of the slides are in the same format, the text sizes are the same, all of that, because you're giving me one presentation. It's just being done by a group of people. As I said, the big advantage is that you can cut and paste individual slides in there with their narrations, as opposed to having a single long video like we're doing right now. As for doing this single long video, so one, I suppose, thing you could do if you really wanted to was just to get a video camera and record your group doing their presentation in front of a screen. That's not quite what I had in mind, because the idea was you wouldn't have to come to class on that Monday, since we don't have class that Monday. Instead, what we would be looking at is you doing something like you are seeing right now. The advantages of using a system like this is that you can use the cursor as a pointer. So you don't need to do any kind of fancy PowerPoint version of something. You can use just a normal PowerPoint and point out the things you can do using your cursor in order to make that more easily done than if you had to design the PowerPoint slides for it. The downside is that you cannot do this all separately and combine them together, unless somebody has video editing software that would allow you to edit individual chunks of video together. If you can successfully do that, be my guest. It's just that those tend to be a little bit more expensive or not work all that well. The other downside is that for doing a free service, most of the free services that allow you to record these videos and either save them or post them online, is that they have a limited amount of time. Now, the way that these work, as you can see, is that I'm simply using my PowerPoint and then doing everything I would do on here. It's just recording whatever's going on the screen. So it's a screen capture software. There are a bunch of different services that have varying features. The one that I am using, as you can probably see because I think there's a big logo somewhere on the screen, is Screencast-O-Matic. It allows me to do up to a 15-minute video, and it allows me a couple of options. Once I have my video recorded, I can save it as a video file. The only problem with that is they tend to be fairly large, especially as they get longer. And if you are saving it as a video, you're probably going to have to save it into a Google Drive and share that with me. The other thing you can do, the way that you're watching it right now, is that some of these services will allow you to upload it to YouTube, and then all you need to do is send me the YouTube link for doing that. So this is what you're going to need to do if you decide to use this software or this type of software in order to do it and have your video posted that way.